I want to say good day to you this day of your time. How are you all? All right. Now, this will be somewhat of a different communication for a variety of reasons. Let us begin in this way. We would like you to set aside your expectations, set aside your assumptions about what you imagine this communication might be. We have a very specific agenda this day of your time to communicate to all of you. And as always, we have our reasons for doing so. We are, of course, aware of various events that have occurred of late on your planet and the buildup of energies. Now, we will take a moment to remind you that we, in general, spoke of this in your year of 1998 and did mention at that time that there was, at that time, a 97% chance of what you call a terrorist strike on your New York City. At the time, we included the possibility of it being nuclear in nature, for that was the most likely scenario at the time of the sensing. In essence, that is the only main factor that has changed. And because that has now come to fruition, and you have now passed onto the other side of a doorway, crossed a very specific kind of energy threshold, we can now find it within our agenda to communicate with you again, to continue the conversation that we began back in what you call your year of 1998, which to us was yesterday. For again, understand that time is meaningless to us. But we understood that your consciousness was required to go through a significant shift before there could be other things that would be presented. And we will continue that dialogue now. We also remind you that at one time we discussed with you the idea that we have extended an invitation to each and every one of you and to all of you together to become members of what you have referred to in your language as our association of worlds, interstellar alliance, federation, whatever you wish to call it, does not matter to us. And in extending that invitation to each and every one of you and all of you together, we did, to some degree, explain that involvement, exchange, interaction, relationship with us in that way did require changes within each and every one of you and all of you together. And that over your years, this relationship would grow until such time as there would be a more, in your terms, recognizable interaction, physiological interaction between your world and our worlds. And at that time, then, eventually becoming what you would call a recognized member of the alliance, of the association. And so, we would also like to add this day of your time information that will assist in generating the next step in your chosen evolution to eventually blend, join with all of us in a certain way, and thus do our part to continue our welcome to you into our association. You are, at this point, shall we say, honorary members. You don't exactly quite yet have a vote. Except the most important one, which is the vote for your planet. The vote for your reality. The vote for what you want your world to be. We will be discussing many different concepts this day of your time. We will be presenting some things that are extensions of what we have discussed before. We will be presenting many new things that we have never discussed before. Each and every one of these things, in some way, shape, or form, will be connected, though it may not seem so on the surface. And we would now remind you, shall we say, lift the veil a little bit on our technique of communicating with you by allowing you to understand more strongly than before that the things that we discuss with you have specific purpose, not always apparent on the surface. You and we and all beings are energy resonance, and thus this interaction is more than just a conversation, a discussion. It is an orchestration, an empathic orchestration, a resonance, frequency, vibration, orchestration. And the specific things we choose to discuss and mention have specific effects in your consciousness, beyond the surface meaning of the words that are translating through the channel. So while we are perhaps talking about one thing, many other things are going on in terms of setting up resonances and energies that will move, flow in a certain direction, have a certain impact, all with your permission, of course. For nothing we do is against your will, for it works no other way but that you are a willing participant and will let in and allow in what you wish. But there are many levels to this conversation, some of which are not audible to you, and even many levels within the words we choose and the things we choose to tell you that will, in some way, shape, or form, tip the scales if you let it in. But that is up to you. Freedom of choice is paramount and always will be in these discussions. Most importantly, we reiterate and strengthen what we have said about dropping your expectations about what this discussion ought to be about. We recognize the things that are going on, and there will be some discussion that touches upon your recent events. But we would like to invite you to a different place than perhaps many of you have been living for your past few weeks. We would like to invite you to rise to a different level and understand these things that have occurred from a different perspective than perhaps many of you may have considered, or perhaps other than many of you have seen displayed in your society. This is not so much about who did what to whom, or why, or what is going to happen now. This is about taking stock of who you are. This is about taking responsibility. This is about engaging yourselves, engaging each other, engaging your gears into more action, more activity, more self-empowerment, more participation, in order to act more like members of the alliance. For if you are such honorary members, if you wish to be, of our alliance, then in that sense you are honorary representatives of the idea of the alliance and the association on your planet. And there are things you can be doing, and things you can be saying with love, without pushing, without demanding, without threatening, without coercion, without, you had better do this now or else. That is not spirituality. No matter how much you may feel the idea of your heart energy, you must remember that the words coming out of your mouth sometimes will still be coming from fear and doubt, even though they may be inspired to be said by the things that you feel. You must allow yourself to remember to be engaged in body, mind, and spirit in taking your actions, in your communications, so that it is all cohesive, congruous, synchronous. You do not have to force. We remind you, again, the greatest power requires the lightest touch. That is why God is all but invisible. Think about that. The greatest power requires the lightest touch. If you are an expression of the infinite, as you are, and if you act as such, and you encompass that energy in your thoughts, words, and deeds, it will take very little to get done what needs to be done on your planet. And should you find that there is lack of receptivity, move on, move on, move around, move under, flow over, flow through like water. No resistance, none given, none taken. Act in accordance to the flow of love, and love you will leave in your wake. We invite you now then to understand that as an invitation has been extended for some time, you may, if you wish, label this communication RSVP. For this is an invitation to respond. To respond, not react, respond. Which is, in that sense, thus the root of responsibility. Your ability to respond. You have, at this moment, an unprecedented opportunity in the collective energy especially of your culture and of the world at this time. For see what has occurred. See what has occurred in the collective consciousness. Yes, we understand there may be different ways of looking at it. Yes, we understand there may be different opinions about how to relate to it and what should be done. But that is not really the point. That is surface. Look at what is happening. Look at the unification. Also, very important, very critical, crucial. Your culture has been taken by surprise. That energy still exists. You may feel you are, to some degree, getting used to the idea of your new place in the world, your new status, your new relationship with what is going on your planet. But you are still very much in shock and surprise and bewilderment and amazement and wonderment. This state is very open to change. This state is very willing to accept guidance from those that are willing to love themselves and others enough to send that energy into the world now as a beacon to light the way, for the way the energy can be crystallized when it does recrystallize. I cannot underscore the importance of this state enough. It is one of the main reasons we are communicating with you now. Your culture is now like clay. The rigidity has gone out of it to a great extent. Yes, we understand there are rigid reactions throughout. But this is a fragmentation. This is, to some degree, an indication of bones within a body that may take a while to change, but the rest of the body is mostly water and can flow now. Its vibrations, its patterns, the ripples within each and every one of your cellular structures is open. You are ringing like bells. And believe me, we can hear it. We can hear it. We can feel it. And this is why it is important for us to respond now, so that in ringing our bell, it can set up an empathetic vibration in your bells, so that we can become a chorus that sing as one. This state will last for a little while, perhaps even the rest of your year. Take the opportunity to add the vibration now strongly with your love, with your deeds, with your actions, with your involvement, so that you will help select the spectrum, the colors that will then become one and many, many and one, working in concert, living in concert, playing in concert, loving in concert. This is an important time, a very precious time in your society, where you can tap into this vibration of newness, of unexpectedness, of some sense of being lost, foundering, wandering, looking, searching, seeking. Where do we go? What do we do? Who are we? We are not now what we thought we were. Where shall we go? Who shall we be? Put it out there. Put it out there. Put yourselves out there. Put you out there. Get involved. Participate. Act. Be. Do. Show generosity. Show kindness. Show love. Show acceptance. Show allowance in thought, word, and deed. Show helpfulness. Show support. Show connection. Show relationship. Relationship. The reason that we know, and the reason that you know, that all the things we will discuss this day are connected, even though they may not seem to be, is because there is only one thing. There is only one thing. And we are all it. And it is us. All of us. You, us, everyone, everywhere, everything, every when. And so, what seem like different topics, different subjects, will be the same one consciousness, whose chords will be plucked at different pitches, creating what seem to be different notes, to create an orchestration of allowance, malleability, and true power. True power. Destruction, of course, is not power, never has been. It is easy to destroy. That's because it takes no power. Power is in creation. Power is in relationship. Power is in unity. That is power. It takes no power to destroy. That's why anyone can do it. And it's easy and quick. You can destroy a building in seconds. Create together. Bond together. A foundation that is unbreakable across the planet. Teach through action, not proselytizing, not, you must know this or else you're not one of us. Not that. Not that. Not that. Oh, did I mention not that? For that is not teaching. That is not teaching. That is only fear that what you say you believe in might not really be so. And so to convince yourself, you must convince others. Of course, that never works. And so we will never try that. Because we know what works, because we have been to some degree where you are. In some ways, quite literally. For you are us, and we are you, from another point of view. And we are all one. Look now to the symbols of your society. We have discussed some of them with you before. Your sociological symbols, your stories, your myths, your legends. We understand that to some of you this may seem facetious, frivolous, funny, silly. But understand it is a very strong barometer of many, many things. We have discussed this before. One of the strongest stories in your society is that one you refer to as Star Trek. Why? There's a reason. It represents certain things about you. It reflects certain things about you. And again, the timing is no accident for how that particular legend, story, myth, symbol plays out in your society. We have actually used it as a barometer many times to see the reflections going on all levels of your society. That one show. I know it sounds strange to some of you, but it isn't. It is more of a collective consciousness expression than you might imagine. You all play a part in feeding ideas to the writers on different levels. The writers of that particular show are open to receiving them whether they know it or not, and incorporate them into many of their stories. They say, hey, just had a new idea. Let's try this out. And of course what they did is wake up from a dream that they may not remember, where they had a big conversation with everyone and said, we're going in this direction. It might be a good idea to reflect this in your story. For stories are mirrors, as you know, that teach you about yourselves. And now look where your Star Trek is going. They're starting over at the beginning. Back to the basics. All bets are off. It's all new. Unknown territory. Exploring for the first time a place you've never gone before. That is exactly what's happening to you right now in your society. So that particular story is holding up fine and doing its job well as a reflection of what you're going through as a basic state of being. Pay attention to that. It's important for you to see yourselves in your mirrors clearly. For you make many mirrors, but some of them have become distorted or dusty. You need to wipe them clean and take another look and see where you're really at, who you really are, where you want to be, where you want to go, and take the steps to be that and go there. Clearly, cleanly, deliberately, responsibly, lovingly, allowingly, happily, playfully, joyfully, creatively. RSVP. Respond, please, to this challenge, to this invitation. Or not. But that's your choice and your consequence. For this is all about consequences of actions. And never, never, never in your recent history for a little while has it ever been truer, played out quite blatantly, one of your myths, one of your legends, one of your symbols, one of your axioms, that the sins of the father are visited upon the son. Do you understand my meaning? Understand these things, and you will understand yourselves. See these things, and you will see yourselves. But we do not want you to look under every rock for things that you imagine might be there. We do not suggest that you spend your time weeding out every diabolical thought that someone may have of how to take advantage of you. This is not what this day is all about. This is not what this energy is all about. And it is certainly not the way to really ride the wave to the best of your advantage. So again, I invite you to drop your stories. The ones that you would call baggage. The ones that are becoming heavy. Much heavier with every passing day. Especially in light of what has happened. For this baggage cannot help you. You must see it clearly and let it go. More than ever now, let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Once again, we cannot underscore this enough. You can change if you want to. I tell you now clearly, as a reading of the energy of every single individual, yes, every single individual, without exception, that we are communicating to right now. No exceptions. You can change what you want to change right now if you want to. Right now if you want to. As we read your energy, it is very clear now that this is available to you. No excuses, no reasons. If it doesn't change, it's your choice, and you must now deal with that. There is nothing, no thing, nothing, 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 nothing preventing you from changing in the way you wish to change now. Nothing. Not your upbringing, not your history, not past lives, nothing. I tell you this truthfully now. It is the clearest thing I can say to you, with no other agenda. On every level we are saying this. It says the same thing. There is nothing holding you back from being who you desire to be except the choices you make about who you believe you are. Those things do not hold you. You hold you. Nothing is holding you now that you do not want to be held by for your own reasons. If you have those reasons, so be it. We love you just the same, for you are loving beings of light just the same, no matter whether you choose to live in fear and doubt, no matter whether you choose to second guess yourselves, no matter whether you choose to stay where you don't want to be, no matter whether you choose to feel that you cannot change. We don't care. We love you anyway, because we see your creativity. We see how you are applying your energy, and we know it takes a great deal of creativity to do what you are doing, but we are simply letting you know. If you wish to change, you can. There is nothing holding you back. Nothing, nothing, nothing. You cannot at any point now, from this point forward, on the other side of the door, blame anything in your past, or anything in any parallel reality, or any other person, or any other entity, or any other energy, or anything at all, for who and what you are right now. Blame game is done. Gone. No excuses anymore. Oh, what a pity, they were so much fun. But when you realize that being who you really are, when seeing yourselves as we see you, is so much more fun, so much more powerful, so much more ecstatic, you will not hesitate to change. You will not wait a second to change if you would only see yourselves as we see you. But we love you. And I must let you know that this day of your time, even though this is somewhat usual for these communications, it is unusual in the sense that the extent of other beings, the council, the association, the alliance, other beings, parallel realities, other levels of consciousness, shall we say, participating in this communication is unprecedentedly large on our side. Much larger than the gathering before the channel. Many times larger. Every member of the association is paying attention to what is going on with you this day, right now, in this communication, and many more like it around your planet that are going on right now. There are many such communications taking place and will continue to take place for some time. Open up, open up, open up to the fact that you are loved that much. Open up to the fact that you deserve this. Open up to the fact that you are who you are. Open up to the fact that you are reflections of the infinite in all ways that can be said and meant and felt and experienced and acted upon. We would now like to coin, as you say, a new word or phrase. Not that we want you to go around sticking labels on everything. You do that well enough without us. But this perhaps will help lay down a little bit of a different perspective, a different, as you say, spin on things. Who can tell me what a subtheonic particle is? Any takers? Subtheonic particle. All right, subtheonic resonance pattern. Or if you wish to shorten it, just theon. Who can tell me what a theon is? You have electrons, you have protons, you have neutrons, you have quarks. Theons, you have photons. Theon, you have bosons, mesons, leptons. Theon, you have neutrinos. Theon.
Is it something that is envisioned or imagined or created from imagination?
No.
Theory? A universal unit?
Closer.
Theory?
A particle of God. Yes. That means you are all theons. Everything is a theon. A subtheonic particle. Everything in existence is a theon. You are a subtheonic resonance pattern. Now, I do not say it this way to depersonalize you, but to allow you to understand that as you recognize your body as a unit, so to speak, as you recognize any block of material as a unit, and yet you know it is also consisting of subatomic particles, resonance patterns, if you wish, understand that that is what everything is. Anything that is a thing that is one of the many of the one is a subtheonic particle by definition. So you are elementary particles of God. You have many of the qualities of subatomic particles. You have spin, charge, electricity, magnetism in a sense, gravitational attraction. You have many of these properties, but also, if you wish, masslessness, instant transformation, teleportation. You have all these things. You are subtheonic particles. When you come together in a subtheonic molecule and start to build chains of subtheonic molecules, bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, of course, ultimately, you become God. But remember that every part is the whole. Every part is the whole, even as the whole is every part. It is, as we have said in your language, holographic. The one is the many, many are the one. Allow yourself in your states of repose, in your meditations, in whatever you wish to create, when you create space for yourself, moments for yourself, when you become at peace within, energized and centered, active, creative, loving. Feel that resonance that you are, the subtheonic resonance pattern that you are. Feel yourself as that aspect of God, of all that is, God, Goddess, all that is. Everything, every when. It's all one, all here, all now in a sense. Remember that. Nothing is out of touch, out of reach, over there. It's all here, now, in you. This energy now, in your culture, this wonderment and wonderment, is a perfect opportunity to tap into this resonance, this subtheonic particle concept, allowing yourself to spin the energy up, raise the vibration up. Each and every one of you wandering through your streets, a small spinning galaxy of subtheonic particles of your own, intersecting electromagnetically at the speed of light every other aura and electromagnetic field and subtheonic galaxy of every other being, touching everywhere, intersecting, interpenetrating. You are one big love fest. Breathing each other in and out, in and out, in and out with every heartbeat. Breathing, taking in, letting out, taking in, giving, taking in, giving, exchange, 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 relationship. You are one relationship to yourselves. You are God relating to itself through all of its subtheonic particles, all of its essences, all of its quirky little quirks. Cherish your uniqueness, your individuality, for that is the paradox, as we have said. The more you allow yourself to be the individual that you truly are, the more unified you all become. The more you allow each other to be who you are, the more you become the one. Oneness is not the erasure of individuality, just the opposite. It is the strengthening and support of all of you and your individual expressions, for that is what God is. God is love. And what does that mean? That means God is unconditional support of all that God is. Otherwise, God would collapse into nothingness. In order for God to be, and not to be, God must support itself unconditionally and must therefore be unconditional love and unconditional support for everything that God is, which is you, which is us, which is everything. Unconditional support forever, forever, forever. But of course, time is an illusion, so it's all just right now, in one moment. That's all God has to do. Support itself once for one moment. But that one moment is eternal. And everything you are and everything we are and every single different moment that you perceive as different are all the same one single eternal moment being experienced from all the different points of view that God can experience itself. All at once. The magnitude of that should explode in ecstasy within you. If you feel God, you will explode in unconditional ecstasy and love. And feel the unconditional support you have to be who you are without excuse. To be joy, to know that there is no longer any reason not to be except the reasons you create. And that's up to you. Pay attention clearly to to the ideas of involvement and responsibility, and how you have set things up on your planet for certain things to occur in certain ways. But do not dwell there. Know it, but don't live there. Again, we invite you to live in a different dwelling place. Do not use half your wits, use them all. I believe it was your own Shakespeare who said, "Thy wit hath been cloven in twain, and you do not use what wit dost remain." No, he didn't write it, he just said it. Allow yourself to be whole, to function whole. Do not be torn asunder by engaging in low vibrational ball play. Allow yourself to understand that it is now available to you to rise beyond, to encompass and include all that is going on, to see it for what it is, and accept what has been, what is, and what may be, but to know that it is not your fate, to know that it is within your hands, within your hearts, within your minds, within your souls, within your spirits, to be more, to be bigger, to include and expand and contain all that is going on from a different point of view, from a mountaintop. Connected, part of, involved, not aloof, not remote, but from a sacred mountaintop that is your highest place of being. Don't be afraid to be that you. Don't be afraid to be that you. Don't be afraid to discover you are that good. Don't be afraid to discover you have that much love. Don't be afraid to express it. Don't fall back into the pattern and the game that you have created for yourself. For a pattern is only a choice once known. You can no longer blame the pattern. Again, remember, a habit is something you do you don't know you're doing. When you know you're doing it, you've busted yourself. Knowing you have the habit is the end of the habit, not the beginning of attempting to change it. Consciousness, awareness is a whole new ball game. Play that game, and you will be playing with us. Or if you want, you can continue to play with yourselves. And I think you take my meaning. Nothing wrong with that, but you know, there are other things you can be doing with other people. We know you like to jest, and we know you like to joke, and we like to share that with you. For we find it, oh, all right, endearing. It's one of your endearing qualities, that you can make a joke out of anything. Especially yourselves. But that is the beginning of wisdom. It is the beginning of truly knowing yourselves, for you are eternally joyful when it comes right up to it. Let go, let go, let go of the old ideas of who you think you have to be. Let go. It's all right. You won't bite, well, not much. Not in a bad way, anyway. It's all right to be you. It's all right, it's all right, it's all right. We have seen who you are. Nothing else will shock us. We have seen what you can do. Do not be afraid to be yourselves. You will be welcome with open arms. For as you embrace yourselves, you will find yourselves embraced by us, by those above, by all that is. For you always have been. There has never been a time when you haven't been. No matter whether you can perceive it or not. I tell you again in truth, you are never alone, except that you are allowed to be private and be your own person and be given space, but that space is still filled with love. There is not a place and not a space where God is not. There is no such thing. No such thing. You are never alone in that sense. You are simply all one. Allow yourselves to understand what is being said by the council here tonight, today, and in the weeks to come. A major change has occurred in the collective consciousness. Now pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. When things are translated through in this manner, oft-times we find that the words that are said and are recorded through the channel may be paraphrased. Do not paraphrase. If you are going to repeat what is said, repeat it verbatim. Verbatim, 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 verbatim. Therefore, with that in mind, events are now shifting due to what has gone on and what will go on that may now make it likely. What did he say? Likely. Not, this will happen. Likely. What percentage? 95. Likely now, due to certain factors, that your world may officially know about the existence of extraterrestrial life by your year of 2005. Officially know about. Do you understand? Officially know about. I didn't say we're all going to land in our ships. But believe me, that's a big step. Keep your energy up. Officially know about by your year of 2005, likely. Stay tuned for more updates. For when we need to tell you something, we will tell you something. Otherwise, please understand there is nothing you need to know other than what you already know. We help where it is appropriate, because you have asked us, and again, because we love you. But we can only tell you so much, because, no, we're not holding anything back, because you have told us exactly how much you want to know and how much you don't. You are calling the shots. And collectively, you communicate with our counsel more often than you might think. We take readings. We ask you advice. We see how you're doing. We ask you questions. We give you information. And we take a pulse. This much and no more? Yes, for now. I need to absorb it, you say. All right. I need to apply it, you say. All right. Need to get used to the idea, you say. All right. We'll take it a step at a time, but that's all right. For each step is a whole reality, a whole change. Remember, every change is a complete change, a total change. When you wrap your minds around that concept fully, you will know how flexible reality really can be. And you will really learn to play with it, to use it in beneficial ways, to shift and tap into parallel ideas in a number of creative endeavors. Some of you are beginning to do that. I know that oftentimes you're a little jittery about it, but that's all right. Sort of like learning to walk on ice. You'll figure out sooner or later that you need some skates. And you'll build those skates. We'll help you as far as we can. But as soon as you understand how to build those skates, you will be skating. And then it will be figure eights and pirouettes and double flips and somersaults and twists. Soon enough. Enjoy where you are, or you will never get where you're going. Enjoy where you are, or you will never get where you're going. Do I have to say it 3 times? Enjoy where you are, or you will never get where you're going. Why? Because you're not going anywhere. Enjoying where you are tells you that what you need to be is right here, because this is where everything is. Nothing is anywhere else. There is nowhere else. So enjoy where you are, and you will be where you're going. And where you're going, which is where you are, will keep changing to reflect how much you enjoyed the last expression of the here and now. And the next, 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 and the next. In rapid succession. As fast or slow as you can handle it. According to your own definition of handle. One moment. One moment.